All people are doing is they're buying and swapping, and you're providing that. You're parking up your little real estate property, you're putting your little assets to work. And in the meantime, in this pool, for example, you can get Solana and USDC. Okay, and if you believe, I don't want to use USDC as an example, let's say you have Solana and Render, and if you like Solana and Render, again, that's why we don't tell people what pools to start. We just look at their assets and we find their pools that they can plug in with their assets, and that's why this works so well. And what you can do is, like, if you believe in these coins and you want more coins, for example, let's say you have a pool, Solana and Render, right? You have one pool here, you decide to put it on Orica, VFAT, whatever, right? You have 3 options. We always tell our guys, option number 1 is you can stack, you can compound, right? Solana Render, your goal is to get more Solana Render for this bull run. Again, it's not about the dollar value. We don't care about the dollar value when we start these pools, because eventually, if we were buying, like, we've loved this last little bear kind of mini cycle at one month or something, right? Because guess what? We've accumulated way more clients. So when we do eventually go up, even if it's 2, 3, fucking 4 years, and the bear market is here, it would suck. But we get more assets that we believe in, and we're going to be able to sell for more dollar value. That's the caveat to that. Option number 2 is what you can do is this is like compound, or you can start, keeping the assets, etc. Option number 2 is you could scale to other pools. Okay, let's say you have a Solana Render pool going here, but maybe you want to buy XRP and Ethereum and you want to compare them on VFAT, right? Which some guys like to do. Well, you take these fees and you start a new pool. It's almost like you create a flywheel, okay? Or option number 3, I don't recommend you do this, especially if you believe the bull market's here, okay? But if you want to pay off your mortgage, to buy groceries, etc., you just sell those fees for cash, okay? You've got Ethereum or whatever you said, Solana Render pool. It pays you Solana Render. You sell that, go back to Coinbase again. That's so they make money as well. So you're paying them, even though you've just made fees. You pay them a little bit of fee. It goes to your bank account, GBP, USD, Canadian dollar, whatever. And you take this and pay your groceries. I would delay this, because if you think the bull run's here, it's a lot better option to stack coins that you believe in for free, especially if you think they're going to go up eventually. Because if you do this, it's just like you're not going to get as much. Okay? If you can already afford your bills right now, for example, you should probably just keep doing that and just delay gratification, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think now is the time to be taking the money out of the market. If you have the ability to keep reinvesting those profits and fees into more assets, if not even just USDC, lend it out and generate more of an income off of that, waiting for a better buy-in price, there's just no reason you should be taking the money out, if possible, I would say. Jake, there's a lot of people in chat kind of saying the same thing, where they're like, hey, I don't think I have enough capital to meaningfully either buy Bitcoin, or even like our liquidity pool is worth it. Like, is it just for the whales? What would you say to that?
Well, firstly, let's drop some dollar values. That doesn't matter, right? Even if you have, and again, if somebody says they got $100 in chat, I'm going to be very pissed off. But basically what I'm going to say to the guy that has $100, okay? And if they start commenting, like, how much do you have? You're not going to dox yourself in this chat. Like, just say how much you have in cryptocurrency. Just say, because then it's a better, like, we can actually tell you. Because it's not about much you have, right? If you're in your 20s like us, if you're in your 30s, if you're in your 40s, maybe in your 50s, 60s, 70s, it gets a little bit too late. I don't want to say that, but you know what I mean. If you're in your 20s, 30s, and you literally have $100, get a fucking job, man. Do something. But it's not about how much you have, right? It's about the percentage you can get, because we always tell our guys, like Grant, for example, one of the big guys, he didn't start a pool and made like 2K, 3K, whatever per day because he's got $1 million in this, right? What he did was he just started small. He learned the basics, but because he put the work in the real world, he was able to come in, right? So are they commenting their numbers? Is there any numbers?
Yeah, I got 2 guys. Let's do 2 examples. One guy, 23 years old, 16 grand, and one guy, 26 years old, $50,000. Let's do a 25, or no, yeah, it's 16. So let's do a sub 20K and then a 50K.
Okay, and these were the guys that were commenting that, right?
Yeah, a couple of them.
And their main concern was they didn't think they had enough to start pools, right?
Yeah, just basically how are they going to make a profit without altcoins? Like one of the guys said, even if Bitcoin hit 150K, he'd make no profit. Basically, small capital.
But we're talking about DeFi pools putting it to work, not Bitcoin's price.
Yes,
okay,
correct. Us small guys are just liquidity for whales. Yeah, how can we monetize?
Again, it just depends on your goals, right? So we always tell guys, if we go for like a 6 to 12% month on blue chip assets, again, just as we're making this video on live stream right now, just come on VFAT. Again, we will give you this for free because we want you to do well. Like, just come on VFAT right now as an example and just start typing in assets that you have in your portfolio. Okay, so I don't know if they commented what they have. It doesn't really matter, but if they did, it'd be even better because we can actually fact check this. Let's just say you have some AVAX, right? Doesn't matter about them. Let's just run this. So I know you've been running a Bitcoin AVAX pool a little bit, I believe. It's 12% wide. We don't really need to talk about the width as well because this is getting a little bit too complicated just to answer the question. But like, even if you just pump this out a little bit, okay, if you're getting 8, 10, 12% per month, whatever, on this example, blue chip, Bitcoin and AVAX, we'd all agree that Bitcoin's going to do well. If you have AVAX, it'd be a good idea to pair this against this, right? I mean, I think you literally have one of these bills. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, if you're aiming for 10% per month, again, we don't recommend you to put your full portfolio, but I'm just going to presume you do, right? Just to make this super easy maths, because I don't know how much you want to put in. You'd make 1.6K. It's just fucking maths. And for the guys that have 160K, you know, they'd make, believe it or not, 16K per month. So it's just
kind of crazy when you think about it.
It's
At a
not.
16 grand net worth, 1.6K is like, that's a lot of money for you. Keep compounding.
But it gets better. You know why it gets better? Because again, if you come back to what we drew here and you decide to play this game, delaying gratification, so many people are texting me saying they can watch me on live on WhatsApp. Fuck them. Basically, you have more Bitcoin AVAX for the bull run. So even if Bitcoin is at 110K right now and it goes up to 140, 150, it's like the 1.6 is like you made a little bit more. The AVAX, for example, I know it's a little bit more risky, but I think it's still going to do well this bull run. Let's be honest, it did well in 2021, and it's probably going to do well in this bull run. Like it's a 4 or 5x for whatever in the previous run. And let's just say it got to $100 this bull run. Again, this video is not about price predictions. Like that's not what it's about. Let's just say AVAX 5x. Well, if you're in at $800, half of that 1.6, and it 5x's, like it's almost like you're getting all that more appreciation because you kept the coins. And even then, if you compounded it, it's almost like that you can be making 3K, 4K per month. Like in, you know, depends where this coin goes. A full-time job. Like we said, the average income.
You were making $1,500 a month, but once it 5x's, were you really making $1,500 or were you making exactly?
Yeah, and that's why we always say, if you can ignore this, sure, take the 1.6K and like pay everything you need. But if you just delay gratification and you're surviving right now, you know, just keep stacking.